Greetings, listeners. It is I, Adrian Pius, the voice of the Imperium. I am finally back, and there have been a lot of rumors about my disappearance. I assure you, I am here, I am back, and I am ready to lay out some truth like a rolling artillery barrage. I want to put some other rumors to rest as well. Now, some degenerates have dared to impugn my honor by suggesting that me, Adrian Pius, officially endorsed merchandise that is being sold to xenos. I want to put an end to this rumor by roundly condemning any traitor that dares to sell Never Fail bunkers or the Adrian Pius bubbleizer to xenos scum. I sell it to people, human beings like you and me, and some of those people sell them to people who aren't people, sell them to xenos, the other. And that's what's gonna be the topic for today, folks. We're not talking about people, we're talking about xenos, the other degenerate space weirdos who dare to challenge humanity's claim to the galaxy. And we'll go through them one at a time, and we might even talk about a couple that folks don't really hear that much about. We'll talk about a couple of them. But first, let's go over the rules of engagement. Now, we only bring in so much money. You see, folks, with corporate sponsorships, merchandise sales, book sales, speaking engagements, syndication, etc. But Pat and I could still use all the support we can get to fight the enemies of the Imperium on the airwaves, which is almost like fighting them on the ground, but it's on the airwaves. It's like fighting on the ground. So if you would like to help us keep the lights on, you can make a small donation to the show, and we will take your call live on the air, and I will treat you with the sort of respect worthy of someone who gives me money. All right, let's go ahead and get underway. We have a lot of different. We're going to talk about the main xenos first, and there's so many. There's no way I'm going to be able to talk about every minor xenos race that gets eradicated on a Sunday by the Imperium. It'll take us 10,000 years to cover all that. But we're gonna talk about the main ones, and we'll talk about a couple of the minor ones that are of note that you tend to see. So, all right. We'll start with the ones who purport to be the oldest and wisest, and they've been here since the beginning, and they've seen things we cannot imagine, and all that nonsense. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Necrons. We're talking about the Bone Boys themselves, the sleepy pharaohs. I don't know about you all, but if their story is what they say it is, I don't know about you, but the very first thing I wouldn't want to do after winning a cataclysmic war is to go to sleep. What you have universe-bending power at your disposal. You have everything. There's no one left. Do something. Nope. We're gonna just go to sleep. Gonna just go to sleep. For all their technology, for all their universe-shattering technology, for all their age, for all the everything they have, they are incredibly petty and short-sighted. If they thought for half a second, they wouldn't be embroiled with petty interdynastic conflict, but they are. because they're idiots. They're all insane idiots. Most Necrons, whatever happened to them back in the day, whatever grand conflict they mutter about, most of them, they got no brains. They might as well be abominable intelligence. They just wander around and they follow orders. Can you imagine a civilization that used to be great, that fought in a tremendous war, a tremendous war, had incredible technology, had a powerful leader like the Silent King, and then when that leader disappears, everyone just collapses into fighting with each other. Like what? And that your civilization is reduced so that the common man just is a mindless drone slaving at the behest of insane overlords. Who would ever want to live like that? Scummy xenos just don't do things the way humanity does at all. Because they're insane idiots. For all their power, for all their technology bordering on magic, they're not very smart. Not very smart. If they were smarter, they'd have their own radio station. They'd have their own Voxcasting network. Not a single Necron is as successful as me. And as we all know, success is proof of rightness. This is why I'm much more successful than Adrian. Adrian Pius is much more successful than Cyrus Amani or whatever his name is, the blue guy, Kevon Jones. How do you even say that nonsense? All right, we can pivot here. We could pivot here. We went from talking about one of the oldest races, or purported oldest races. They just say they're really old. We don't know that. Were you there? No, we have to take their word on it. We're gonna trust them. Are there any Eldar that well, how many millions of years old do they claim to be? Nonsense. All right. But we ought to pivot and we should talk about the Tau. And I'm really gonna dig into the Tau because we've talked about them on this show before, and we all know we've heard it all before of why the Tau are such insufferable weaklings in this galaxy. All right, but before we get into that, I want to get a word from our sponsors here. Now, some of my listeners have come up to me and they've said, Adrian Pius, at 134, how do you stay looking so young? And how do you stay so regular? Which honestly is an odd conversation starter, let me tell you. Anyway, some of you might assume that it's because I use rejuvenating treatments that siphon off the life essence of young, virile people. And you would be incorrect. For the sake of my own regularity, I use Megalax Galaxilax, the most powerful laxative known to man to keep your bowels immaculate. Just because you want to deregulate business doesn't mean you don't want to regulate your own business. Try Megalax Galaxilax. It's like a bayonet charge for your colon. All right. Thank you, Megalax Galaxilax. Moving on to the Tau. Let's just run down the list here. They are naive fools who have been having an immaculate lucky streak. Immaculate lucky streak. Because they're going to be in for the nastiest wake-up call. If anyone in the galaxy ever bothers to take any serious notice of them. I'm not kidding you. Any serious effort by any major power, any minor power, a major craft world having a spat with a Tau is a major crisis that's going to be on their hands. Any serious effort by any major power in the galaxy would wipe out the Tau easily. I don't know. I could tell you. You could tell me my points for me. They are physically weak. They are psychically weak. They are cowards, preferring to rely on a gun wall strategy, which of course is much stupider and lamer than the Imperial Guard's wall of gun strategy, which, is all built on human grit and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Oh man, I just need a little bit of recap going here. I get worked up talking about the Tau. A little bit more recap here. We're gonna keep this one rolling. And there are some humans. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna name Cyrus Amati. I'm not gonna name, these positively cowed, weak, unmanly. I don't even want to call them humans. The ones who have capitulated to xenos lies. Because what do you get when you turn traitor and side with the alien, with the xenos? Well, I'm going to tell you what you get. You get mind control. You don't get an ounce of freedom. You get some noble class, some aristocrat, the ethereals, controlling every aspect of your life. What do you got to do? You got to do this. You don't get to choose your own path. You don't get to do anything. You're just mind controlled into being an obedient serf. Now, how awful would that be to have aliens, alien overlords telling you exactly what you have to do and when you have to do it, how high you can jump, how high, everything, what you eat, everything. Wouldn't you rather have human overlords who control every aspect of your life, tell you what job you're going to do, be born into a permanent serfdom that your family will inherit for tens of thousands of years? That's the way we've done it in the Imperium, not some idealistic, wishy-washy nonsense at the hands of some blue-hooved alien with no nose. Never trust anything that doesn't have a nose. Have you ever seen anything that doesn't have a nose that's trustworthy? What things don't have noses? The Necrons don't have noses. The Orcs, they don't really have noses. They're kind of flat. They got flat face. Tau don't have noses. Tyranids don't have noses. What do we got? We just got the Eldar have noses. And they're copying us. They're trying to look like us to lull us into that false sense of security. All right. Got fired up talking about the Tau, but now we have Pat's got someone on the line. We got Hawkins. Hawkins coming in hot. You're the first caller here. Take it away. Hey, Adrian. I hear the nobles from Necromunda use scrapped Tau tech. Damned fish heads make us Necromundans have a bad day. From Necromunda Scraphawks gang. Word to my bros. Thank you, Hawkins. I think this is a really insidious way the Xenos get to us, and I think Hawkins, a person who is wise enough and wonderful enough to send me money, is clearly has a point here. One of the most insidious ways, the seductive ways of the Xenos is to offer us technology or technology that seems to be so wonderful. Oh, so wonderful. They're gonna make everything so easy. And that's the way they get you. That's sooner or later. Then you're in a Tau re-education camp, that, or you're in a Drukhari horror dungeon. You're being evaporated by Necrons. You thought you had it made. You thought you were slick Johnny Xenos palling around with aliens for the mutual benefit of everyone. And now you're sterilized and in a test tube. That's the way. It's just ridiculous. All right, we're gonna keep moving on, but let's see. Pat, we got any interesting? We got a couple interesting questions. I might want to. How do you stay regular with fiber? No, you don't stay regular with fiber. You stay regular with Galaxilax. Megalax, Galaxilax. Anyone telling you fiber has anything to do with gastrointestinal health is likely a Xenos sympathizer and a traitor. Am I implying that people who don't use my products are not loyal to the Imperium? No, but it never hurts to be too careful. Why not the floppy? Hey, watch it, you. We might get to that. Let's see. Wait a minute. You ever heard reports of sightings of walking skeletons and how you think Cyrus Amani is involved? I guarantee you, Cyrus Amani is in fact involved. Whatever the evils of the Imperium, surely my rivals on the airwaves are the people who are determined to be an obstacle to me personally, are clearly obstacles to the Imperium at large, regardless of, Cyrus Amani's military record, regardless of any points where he might agree with me, regardless of any point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he says. The important thing is he's wrong. And he's responsible for everything. You got me. We're going to get back to Xenos, but I want to clear the air on some of this stuff. What do you think of Ogrins? Look, I think Ogrins have a very specific place. Ogrins are not terribly bright. Ogrins are very strong. I think if you have someone with a strong hand, you can put Ogrins to good use. But one thing Ogrins are not going to be good at is they are not going to be good. It's nonsense that we still have that Greg the Ogrin is still governor of Coram Pere 5. I don't even want to think about it. That's the world that Cyrus Amani wants us to work. We are literally being run by the lowest common denominator, by the. I don't want people sitting in their ivory towers, those brainy idiots. I don't want the brainy idiots running things, and I don't want the idiots running things. I want some nice, solid, reliable, guys I wouldn't mind having a drink with at a cantina. Those are the people who really understand how things go. The mediocre. They're the ones that really are the ones who are the smartest and best suited. Not the brainiacs, not the dimwits, but the real men and women of the Imperium. All right. So, all right, moving on. We've talked about Necrons. We've talked about Tau. I could go on about Tau. Any species whose physical robustness can be compared to the greenskin, the lesser greenskins. What are they called? Grots? Gretchen? The little ones, the little squeaky ones. That's what you've got. You've got You've got no... Yeah, it's just... Talking about the town just makes me upset, and I'm getting caught back up on it. I need to move on. I need to move on. All right, I sort of talked about these ones, but you have the Eldar, another race of very intelligent, ancient beings with technological wonders beyond the understanding of what do they call us? They call us monkeys. They treat us like we're primitive apes. And, hey, buddy, pal, friend, pointy-eared idiot. I don't know if you've taken a look around, but you all are not doing so hot. It was your genius, whatever happened. This is another thing, the great tragedy of the Eldar. They talk about this terrible fall they experienced. Whatever happened to them, whatever stupid thing they've gotten into their heads, where has it gotten them now? They're floating around on a couple of rust buckets, darting around, trying to find little planets that they can call their own and raise their stupid pointy-eared children. That's what. Well, those are the craft world Eldar. They're crying and talking in riddles and lying and they're just generally up to no good, and they're failures. There's never been a bigger failure in the galaxy than the Eldar, except for the ones who the ones that have failed worse than the Eldar we don't know about because they don't exist. I don't think there's an existent species that has failed more than the Eldar. Say what you want about the Tau, but they've had at least a good, lucky run of things. You can't deny that. Luckiest, maybe the orcs are onto something. Maybe Blue really is lucky. But I have a feeling that at some point the Tau are going to go the way of the Eldar, and they have the audacity, the Eldar do, to act holier than thou, to act like they know better than we do. Hey, we have been running the galaxy for 10,000 years, and we're going to run it for another 10,000. So how about you have a seat? What's that, Pat? They claim to have been running the galaxy for longer than that. Millions of years. All right, well, that's what they say. That's what they say about their own history. And I don't know. Do you trust that, Pat? Do you trust the word of an Eldar? All right. It's fun to get mad at the Eldar. I enjoy spitting my ire at the Eldar. Well, any other thoughts out there, Pat? Oh, excuse me. Apologies. Now, the Eldar just have to shut up and listen. I very much agree. They need to shut up and listen, and I'd be fine if they died off, quite frankly. They're just a nuisance. They never make things better. They only make things worse. All right, Mr. Pius, on an unrelated note, did you take my Twinkie, your blockmate? I don't know who this is. Pat, man, we could accidentally get some mail, like a Twinkie. No. All right, but whatever. If we got some mixed up mail, send it back. We'll figure it out. Xenos meddling with mail. I don't know. I do not know. Can't speak to that one. All right, so we talked about the craft world, Eldar. Let's leave the basement dwelling degenerates of the galaxy for a second. We'll dig into them soon. But let's talk about the Eldar that nobody cares about. The craft world Eldar don't care about them. The Dark Eldar don't. Nobody cares about them. the Exodites. Eldar that decided, you know what the answer is? After we've destroyed the galaxy, ruined everything for everyone, and went off to either be degenerate basement dwellers or giant crybabies flying around in flying cities, why don't we get rid of our technology and ride dinosaurs? That's... we got Hawkins coming back in here. The who? The Exodites. Exactly. The who. Who are these? They're a third group of Eldar that nobody cares about, that are slowly dying on their dinotopias. Don't the Kroot already do that? I think you might find that there's a lot of people who do a lot of the same things. A lot of people have isn't it odd? I don't know. This is just like a strange quirk of the galaxy. There seem to be an awful lot of beings that have saurian creatures. So we got the Exodites. We got someone mentioned the Kroot. Okay? And what do we live off of? What do most of us live off of? What if you're eating meat? What are you eating? Come on, audience. What are you eating? If you've got it, what are you eating? What's the most commonly butchered creature in the Imperium? Groks. Groks. And what are Groks? Groks are saurian. All right, all right, Pat, we got a big one, huh? All right, lay it on me. Who's talking? We got Old Man Skeletal. All right, you are on the air. What do you got for us?
Tibiscuff, Grey Skier of Scavendom, 13th Sheer Council, holiest of numbers, we'll hear, listen to all pious things, watch shows from sewer basement, wish to know thoughts on Vermintide soon to come. P.S. We chew on limited edition shirts. Yes, yes!
Not sure what that was all about. That's some kind of ganger, the Skaven, some kind of gang. Come on, Necromunda's got to have a gang called the Skaven. They have every kind of gang. Fine, pick a different hive world. How many do we have? We have thousands of hive worlds. There's got to be a gang that talks like this. All right. So, wish to know thoughts on Vermintide. What Vermintide? What is Vermintide? Oh, Vermintide. Pat, how do you know this? Are you a scholar, Pat? All right, apparently, Vermintide is an Archaeotech game played on ancient cogitators that feature primitive humans facing an enemy of like rat-like humans, not ratlings, like actual rat-like humanoid creatures. Those are called Skaven, apparently. Huh. Odd that this ganger would also refer to themselves as some kind of Skavendom. All right, well, that's just a funny quirk, isn't it? All right, Pat's pulling it up. He's playing a few levels. Well, that is indeed a lot of rat things. All right, and then there's supposed to be... Pat said that in the ancient lore that they were... Another game was supposed to be forthcoming, or another one. He hasn't found it yet. Pat, your love of Archaeotech games is very strange. But from what he's showing me, what do I? It looks very interesting. I'm trying out a little bit of it right now, and what this rat ogre, I'm dying to it. It's like a truck. No, it's interesting. It's an interesting game, or at least if this is indeed approved by the Mechanicus and the Imperium at large. I think this is pretty interesting, and if Pat can pull up anything else, if he can find the latest one, then it will get the Adrian Pius seal of approval for being an excellent example of humanity's ability, even on a feral or primitive world, to throw back waves upon waves of lesser beings. All right. So thank you once again, Tibisikalth. Thanks once again, Tibisikalth, Grey Seer of Scavendom, 13th of the Sheer Council, holiest of numbers, I guess. Thanks once again for your donation. I definitely appreciate it. All right, so I ripped into the Exodites. A bunch of dinosaur riding do-nothings. All right, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to move on to the basement dwellers. We got another one. All right, Marked Ashamed, with a big donation, very much appreciated. So, all right, go ahead. No, go ahead, Pat. Go ahead and put them on. Turn off the game, Pat. Come on, do your job, Pat. Come on, gotta get on the ball here. All right, Marked Ashamed, you're on the air. Let's hear it. Hey, Adrian. So, why is it that Imperial citizens in Necromunda have to either be tested for mutations or infused with anti-mutation serum, while refugees from the Imperium Nihilus don't even get to be tested for mutations? And Marked Ashamed, I think this is an excellent point. If you're going to be a citizen of the Imperium Sanctus, and you're coming from the Imperium Nihilus, why can't we subject? What are the objections to subjecting the refugees from these war-torn places? Why can't we subject them to the same scrutiny that we have on ourselves? We all have to do it. We all have to go get the mutation screenings, and or we have to get infused with anti-mutation serum to ensure the safety of our populations. Now, there's definitely in places like Necromunda or where places where there are very high rates of mutation due to just the natural amounts of radiation in the area. There have been made exceptions for numbers of non-standard deviations from humanity. Exceptions have been made, but I'm not making exceptions now. That's the important thing. To be a man of principle, and that's what I am. As always, Adrian Pius, man of principle. And speaking of being a man of principle, I want to talk about something that's been a concern for anyone. Are you spending too much on medication? Well, why not spend a little more and buy the Adrian Pius Medication Supplement Plan? Note, the Adrian Pius Medication Supplement Plan does not provide medication. It doesn't supplement anything, and it is not really a plan. But it is endorsed by a name you can trust, Adrian Pius. Sign up for the Adrian Pius Medication Supplement Plan today and imagine the savings. You'll ask yourself, how in the Emperor's name this is legal? All right. So we got the Craft World Eldar, crying failures. We have the Exodites, dinosaur riding failures, and now we have the Dark Eldar, failures who never said sorry. Can you imagine how pathetic it must be to live an existence siphoning off living off of the misery of others, where you simply sit on your backside and allow or take an active part in gajillions of the suffering of gajillions of uncounted people, and live off of that because you created the thing that's consuming you. We got a comment in Pat saying it's another word of caution. Eldar don't fart. That is how alien they are. Exactly. They might look similar to humans. They got the pointy ears and they're tall, and they wear funny clothes. But the truth is, they're nothing like us. They don't think like humans do. They are a devious bunch of losers who are looking to steal, kill. They don't care. They don't care about us, and we shouldn't care about them except enough to eradicate them. But the Dark Eldar, I don't think we need to really talk about them. How stupid do you have to be? Look, I've made fun of the Necrons. I've made fun of the Tau. But look, even the Necrons, when they, how does the story go, Pat? You know about this too, huh? Who are you, Pat? How do you know all of this stuff? All right, according to Pat, the story of the Necrons and their origins was they made some deals with some pretty bad dudes. Some what do they call them? The Sitar, whatever. They some weird eldritch horror star gods or whatever. They made a deal with them, and that's why they won the supposed war in heaven, or at least that's how the story goes. And you know what? According to Pat, at some point, the Necrons realized they'd been had, and that these beings needed to be dealt with. And to their, as far as the story goes, I'll give them credit as far as a story goes. I got no notion of the truth of this. But apparently they overthrew these dark star god things and shattered them and broke them and did whatever it is that they did. And the Eldar, when they didn't just make a deal, they created, at least as far as the story goes, they created one of the ruinous powers. They created the thing that will destroy them. And so, say what you want about the big crybabies of the Exodites and the Craft Worlders. At least they took, they were like, well, let's not do that. Let's not be degenerate hedonists and through our ridiculous actions summon a powerful warp entity. At least they were like, well, let's do something about it. What do they got? They got they have their soul stones, and what do the Exodites do? It's something really stupid. Don't they become like one with the planet or something? Yeah, it's really embarrassing. All right, whatever. They become one with their planet or whatever nonsense. But the Dark Eldar, all right, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to just keep doing the thing that created the horror that doomed your entire species. How stupid can you be? How absolutely stupid can they be? And I hope they're listening. But I also hope they don't know where I'm broadcasting from. I hope. How many chapters we got? How many regiments of guard? How many chapters we got defending the station? Enough? Hopefully it's enough. No Yeah, I don't want any of those sneaky Eldar slipping through and hauling me off to whatever weird party dungeon they have. Not messing with that. I'm not messing with that. The sooner we annihilate them, or the sooner they get eaten by or hoisted on their own petard, the better. Be rid of those degenerates. All right. So we've covered the Eldar, complete utter failures. Now, the next one, if you're an idiot, you might say, well, this is the opposite. They've won. They're living the exact kind of life they want. You know, you might say that if you're an idiot. But we're talking about orcs now. Right? We're talking about orcs. They're as far as I'm concerned, they're just idiots. They're just idiots. People say, well, you know, orcs, the galaxy is at war. Orcs love war, or as they call it, wah. They can't even call the thing by the name, the proper name. That's how stupid they are. But that's what they can't really enjoy things. They're just brainless monsters fighting because that's what they were designed to do. They're an escaped experiment run amok. They were, from what I can tell, they were supposed to fight for something. Some xenos race, apparently made them. I think the Magus biologist said something along the lines of their DNA's been modified and they have genetic memory, and that's why they could pop out of the ground and smash scrap together and get a truck or get sophisticated teleportation technology. It's because they just haven't made it to them. So they were supposed to. Someone made them, is what the evidence suggests. And they were made to fight something. Well, whoever made them, they're not here anymore. So the reason they were made is gone. So the orcs have no purpose. There's only fighting and destruction. There's nothing to gain from the orcs. They don't create empires that last. Who's the greatest among the orcs? What, Gazgul? Gazgul Mag-Uruk Thraka? I definitely know that name. I've heard the stories of him and Sebastian Yarick in the defense of Armageddon. What has he ever done? What great star-spanning empire has he ever created? None. Now you might say, there's the Orc Empire of Octarius, or there's the Orc Empire of Charadon, the arch arsonist of Charadon, the Overfiend of Octarius. These are dynastic Orc empires passed on from generation to generation, boss to boss, titles and power passed on. And how's that going for the orcs of Octarius now? How's that going for the orcs of Octarius now? They're just a big buffet for the bugs. Now, whose bright idea was that? Likely some Imperial truther, Inquisitor, had the bright idea to get them embroiled in a galactic spanning conflict. All right. Now the orcs. The orcs are they're basically just a giant waste of time. They're a mess. They just cause problems. They're not even trying to do anything. They're just trying to fight. All right. We got another call. marked ashamed again. All right, marked ashamed. Go ahead. You're on the air. Appreciate the donation. Yeah, hey, Adrian. Look, Lord Solar Millie has abandoned Armageddon, leaving victory to the orcs after a secret astropath call to Abaddon. Why hasn't the commissars found him wanting yet? That's a good question. Maybe I'm getting a different. My understanding of what's been happening on Armageddon is it's been a big mess since the Rift. That it's not just orcs fighting. It is now there are ruinous powers that have been involved in the fighting on Armageddon, and it is the war to end all wars is now escalated. I think it's a great big mess, and I think I'm not sure. It's like, well, did Lord Solar Millie abandon Armageddon, and has this all happened? My guess is it's because it's a big confusing mess that they haven't gotten a hold of this. If what you're saying is true, we got to deal with this traitor. We got to deal with this traitor pronto. And if more people thought the way I do, we wouldn't have these traitors really cultivating these cowardly attitudes. All right. Pat's saying we got a big one here. Captain Toothbreaker. All right. I'm not afraid of. No, go ahead. I'm not afraid of xenos. Go ahead and put them on. See what he's going to say. Mr. Pius, I'm here to deliver the custom never-fail bunker you ordered. Extra armor, extra Yumi food and water, and extra internal docker. Just sign here, and McGrot's Kelly stole it for you. Listen here. So-called captain, so-called tooth, so-called breaker. I'm the one who sells never-failed bunkers. I'm not ordering anything from any xenos, whether it has extra armor, whether it has extra Humi food and water and extra internal DACA. I'm not going to, sign right here, and I'm not going to have you have your grots put it, right over, no, not there. It's over there. Yeah, nice in the corner. Look, just as long as you can promise me the Dark Eldar aren't going to be able to get me in there. It's secure, right? No, I'm not. I don't want any of that. I do not want any of that coming into my studio, secured by the Astra Militarum, secured by the Adeptus Astartes, secured by the loyalist sons of the Emperor. I will not have anything to do with any xenos, and I will not have any dealings with them. That is the Adrian Pius promise. All right. How we doing, Pat? I think this has been a lot of generous folks today helping keep the lights on. And if you were curious as to other ways you might want to support the Adrian Pius show, the voice of the galaxy, Adrian Pius, voice of the galaxy, there are other ways you can support it. So some of you might have your mind on your legacy. Some of you might ask, what do you have to pass on to your loved ones when you finally pass on into the embrace of our glorious Emperor? What better way to pass down a little something of yourself than by passing down a little part of me, Adrian Pius, with the Adrian Pius coin collection. In the collection, you will get 8 unique coins featuring me, Adrian Pius, which your grandchildren and children and grandchildren will cherish for generations. And if you buy now using the special code Hornswoggle, you will receive 4 additional limited edition coins, also featuring me, Adrian Pius, But in these coins, I am depicted punching Cyrus Amani square in the face with a power fist. So as I said, supplies are limited. Buy now. You won't regret it. I certainly won't. All right. So we've talked about kind of the main xenos. We've talked about the main xenos groups. We've talked about the Necrons. We've talked about the Eldar, the Dark Eldar, the Exodites, the Tau, the Orcs. Now there are so many minor xenos species, and I'm gonna give you a rundown of what most minor xenos species. This is Joe minor xenos species. I'm gonna give you a rundown of what you could pick a minor xenos species out of a hat, and I'm gonna tell you what they're all about. All right, this is stock standard minor xenos species. All right. They have a bizarre inhuman appearance, whether it be like they're like tentacle things, or they're like snake-like things, or they're bug-like things, or whatever. They have some kind of weird inhuman appearance. All right. Step 2, they have weird, dangerous technology. They have weird, dangerous technology. All right. Okay. 3, they have powerful psychic abilities. All right, they're powerful psychers, and last, they are tied into the ruinous powers. One way or another, they are tied into worship of the ruinous powers. That is 99.9% of minor xenos species. Weirdos in appearance. They have some weird technology that's dangerous and kind of scary. They have psychic powers, and they are enmeshed with the degeneracy of the ruinous powers. All right, we are really hopping today. The phones are ringing off the hook, positively ringing off the hook. It looks like we have Tibsikalf is calling back in. All right. Tibsikalf, go ahead. You're on the air.
Tibsikalf talk, calling to say Skaven may or may not have melted limited edition coin things and used to make craft gold couch for great horned rat. Yes.
Well, once again, I don't know anything about this great horned rat. Oh, maybe they're just big fans of this Archaeotech game that Pat's all on about. Hey, if you bought the coins, fine, sure, whatever. Much appreciated. Tibsikalf, and your Skaven gang, whatever it is that you do, whoever it is that you are. I assume you are indeed human, and thank you for patronizing the Adrian Pius coin collection. All right, we got, Captain Toothbreaker back on the line. All right, what do you got, Captain? They say Toothbreaker is sadly no Dark Pansy defenses, but just for you, I will buy you them for you. Xenos, Captain Toothbreaker, you are very difficult to understand. And once again, I am going to say no, I am not going to consort with Xenos. Here on the Adrian Pius show, Adrian Pius, voice of the Imperium, we do not stand for consorting with Xenos. But I do not want you to make sure that those defenses are well installed in the bunker over there. If you can, appreciate it. Yo, that's nice. Ooh, love if one of them stepped into that. That they will not be in one piece any longer. I definitely like the giant buzzsaw. It's something I would never say because I do not want a Xenos installed giant buzzsaw for the purposes of defending myself against infiltrating Dark Eldar. That is not something that I want at all. All right, so I gave you the basic. So kind of getting back on this. So thank you for donations, very much appreciated from the Skaven, and of course we refuse to associate or accept. Well, I don't know. Are we allowed to like seize the wealth of Xenos? Yeah, we can seize stuff from them. Yeah, we seized that wealth from Captain Toothbreaker, that rapscallion orc. I unfortunately managed to slip through our fingers, but you know, we seized important imperial goods that he had stolen, and we are making sure that they get back to the proper owners. Right? Right, Pat? Right. Okay. So as I was saying, you've heard the basic, most minor Xenos races are, here's a race, they look weird, they have psychic powers, they have weird technology, they worship chaos. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ta-da, that's it. So I guess I'm going to talk about just a couple. And if you out there have a minor Xenos species that you know of that you think might be of some interest, I can try to talk about it, but there's so many of them. There's so many of them, and most of them are all the same. All right, I want to talk about some that are a little different. How many of you have heard about the Jokaro? From they're not very many of them, which is the case of pretty much all the minor Xenos species. But the Jokaro are supposed to be they're essentially apes. They're tech apes, and they have apparently, by the reputation, they have really complicated technology, but the thing they cannot do, they can't speak to one another. They cannot communicate. They can't talk. All right. Is anyone here smelling something fishy about this? Anyone want to raise their hand and say the obvious thing that this doesn't make any sense? I don't know about you, but I am not, I am not a member of the Mechanicus. I know how I can boil water. I can appease the machine spirit and get this Voxcaster working. I can run my show. But you know what happens when I have to get things to work? Minor things that don't involve the tech priest having to come down here and burn the sacred incense and lubricate everything with the sacred oils. When I don't have to do that, I have to talk to people. If I'm building something, even if it's something simple, there's nothing simpler yet more effective than Adrian Pius Never Fail Bunkers. If I'm doing that, I have to talk to people. How you're going to tell me that they have this vast civilization, they have this supposedly incredible, untouchable, unparalleled technology, and they don't know how to talk, right? All right. So that's the Jokaro. Now I'm sort of cheating with the next couple, but you have because this is part of the Tao's the Kumbaya coalition of Xenos degenerates that if we all just team up, then everything will be fine. We'll just all get along and be a big, happy family. So we're going to talk about the xenos that the Tau have decided they're going to buddy up with, because they're different. So first of all, let's talk about the Kroot. The Kroot, the famous bird dogs of the Tau. Now, I gotta say, I am at a loss as to how the wishy-washy, weak, pathetic Tau decided they were going to party up with the Kroot. Cannibalistic bird dogs that literally are what they eat. So if they're ever stuck eating, animals like respectable humans, they become bestial. They become animal-like. And apparently that's just fine for the Kroot themselves, because they just turn their fellow Kroot into beasts of burden or beasts of war. It's fine. It's fine it's apparently fine. All right. Seems to be some of my listeners are getting a little excited and getting into the sauce a little bit. Now, take it easy. Take it easy and take care of yourself. It is very. Let me tell you, it is very difficult to order certified, registered Adrian Pius merchandise when you've had too much to drink. So take it easy. Sober up if you need to. You can use the Adrian Pius Bubbleizer to make some fizzy drinks for yourself, settle your stomach, get some good rest in, and that way, when you wake up, you will be ready to put in an order for one of the many Adrian Pius products that are so useful. Now, I want to bring this back up again, that some of my listeners have come up to me and said, "Look, Adrian Pius, you look so young. How do you stay so regular?" Which, I'm going to be honest, is a very strange conversation starter. But I give you an honest answer. And some of you say, "Well, how can you stay looking so young? How can you stay? How can you do this?" Clearly, it must be using rejuvenating treatments that siphon off the life essence of virile young people. And, not to say that I don't do that, but you would be incorrect. For the sake of my own regularity, I use Megalax Galaxilax, the most powerful laxative known to mankind. And it is used to keep your bowels immaculate. Just because you want to deregulate business doesn't mean you don't want to regulate your own business. Try Megalax Galaxilax. It's like a bayonet charge for your colon. All right. So, So we talked a little bit about the Kroot. I honestly don't get how you have a cannibalistic race of barbarian mercenaries that want to buddy up with the Tau. I don't know. Whatever. Apparently, they also end up working for the Dark Eldar. There are the remote human governors who employ them, and I don't deal with the xenos. Anytime you deal with xenos, you're paying to get a knife in your back. Paying to get a knife in your back. Who's tell me, is that what you want? Is that what you? I know that there are Cyrus Amani supporters listening in, and I know they're just sitting there getting angrier and angrier with each bit of truth that I send out across the Vox waves, across this vast imperium. That they're just sitting there seething, turning red in the face, ready to explode with their own inability to contend with the cerebral might of myself and my followers. and they're saying, well, why can't we get along with all of these xenos? Why can't we prioritize creatures that can't be reasoned with? Why can't we decide to focus on dealing with orcs and dealing with the Tyranids? Aren't these greater threats? And why can't we all just get along? Ridiculous. There's nothing sadder than someone who doesn't trust in the strength of humanity. All right, Pat, we've got another listener on the line, Niels Ebsen, coming on with the big donation. Adrian, what are your thoughts? Oh, no, go ahead, put them on. Hey, Adrian, I just want to know what your thoughts are on Nomanicus. I've heard that he is a true hero of the Imperium. Look, I have had a personal encounter with Nomanicus himself. Nomanicus, Germanicus, Banana Fana, Faux Fanicus, me, my Mo Manicus Primus. And let me be the first to say that he is one really rad dude. I mean, have you seen his swords? They are so awesome because if you look, he's got one. It's really awesome. He has a living saint that lives in one of his righteous swords that purifies the galaxy in the name of the Emperor. And then he has a demon blade that he has selflessly taken upon himself to master and wrestle this demonette and bend her to his will. And I consider myself to be a man of taste who clearly, I assume you all know this, that I have many hot girls myself, but Nomanicus, the hot girls that live in his swords are beyond compare, and it's really cool. If you have any problem, if you want to deal with anything, you send Nomanicus. That's how cool he is. That's how awesome he is. And I just think it's amazing how whenever he shows up, everyone bends over backwards to praise him and how cool he is, how excellent he is. He is, wow. That's all I can say about Nomanicus. Wow. And I think that's something that even Cyrus Amani and I can agree on. I think it's something everyone can agree that Nomanicus is just awesome. All right, we got Hawkins coming in as well. All right, here we go. Go ahead, Hawkins. You're now on. Go ahead, Pat. Put him through. Hey, Adrian. The Scrap Hawk gang managed to sneak off planet. Don't ask how. We're on our way to support you. We also may make you join our gang. Scrap Hawks for the win. Well, Pat, you want to do a background check on the Scrap Hawks? I don't know about being forced to join a gang. Look, I'm not saying that I'm gonna. But yeah, no, I know money is money. It doesn't really matter where it comes from, a gang or wherever. But come on, that can't be good for our image. Pat, give him a mug, give him an Adrian Pius mug. Send him our thanks. Send him on, maybe that'll appease him. He came all this way after all. It can't be that. Look, it can't be that poor if he managed to get off planet and make it all the way here. Give him some merch. Send him on his way. Give him some complimentary stuff. All right, cool. All right, thanks once again, Hawkins, and to the Scrap Hawk gang. I got some more comments about the very impressive Nomanicus. So apparently, we got Pat's telling me this is from one of our callers. A buddy of mine saw Nomanicus take off his power armor in the shower, and he said that Nomanicus had an 8-pack. Hey, look, it's not weird to be impressed by Nomanicus. It's not weird to stare at him in the shower. I mean, he is just he's really, really impressive. That's really cool, really impressive. Definitely has that 8-pack. If you know, and if other Astartes also have 8-packs, then I'm pretty sure Nomanicus has got to have like a 12-pack. Whatever many packs someone can bring to the table, you'll find that Nomanicus has worked out to get even more packs. That's what it's all about. All right. So we also have getting kind of back on getting back on target, back on topic. As much as I could go on and on about how excellent Nomanicus is, I think we can also open up the floor to discussion about these various xenos races. What have you all had to deal with xenos? Have you? I assume all of you, the second you have some kind of xenos sympathizer babbling on about how we shouldn't just produce gobs of industrial waste and ruin planets for the sake of recklessly feeding the war machine of the Imperium while leaving the people in squalor, in filth and squalor. Why don't we share some of our stories about like the devious nature of the Xenos? I don't want to hear any stories about how, because there's no such thing as a helpful Xenos. And anyone who tells stories about that time when there was a warp storm and the Tau and the Imperial Guard set aside their differences to deal with a greater danger, or when the Eldar helped destroy a splinter fleet coordinating with an Astartes chapter. I don't want to hear it. I just want to hear the things that confirm the narrative that I already have going on So let's get on that. Because one of the things that you can't really have enough on is evidence that the Xenos are simply no good. And I don't know about you, but I don't think you have anything good to say about, like, what happens when you're dealing with. I mean, how often do people try to buddy with the Necrons? I don't think there are too many people that's like, you know what we ought to do? We ought to get buddy with those tall, lanky skeleton guys. That's who I want to trust and work with. That's who nothing. Look at those faces. Nothing says trustworthy like a face like that. I think it's too many. What? Hey, wait a minute. Another Brother Baltimore told us of a Tyranid invasion of a Necron Lord appeared and told us to leave. We were able to escape the storm. No, that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear stories about benevolent Xenos. That is propaganda. That is Xenos propaganda. It is nonsense. And look. We are here to hate the Xenos. We are here to mistrust the Xenos. We're not here to listen to one Xenos so we don't get eaten by another Xenos. Working with Xenos always ends up the same way. Clearly, there's absolutely no difference between a craft world Eldar who, wants to recover some lost artifact of nonsense that's important to their history, and, a giant swarm of endless teeth and scything claws that can never be reasoned or bargained with. There's absolutely no difference. They're the same amount of trustworthy. Heck, I'd say that the Tyranids are more trustworthy. At least they don't lie. They're just here to eat you. The Eldar are here to eat us too. It's just it's more deceptive, more underhanded. All right, nonsense. All right, you can pass that name on. Mark Ashamed. Yeah, pass. We got our Bites units. Yeah, go ahead, pass that on. Yeah, Inquisitor. You think we ought to involve the Inquisition? Sure. Make it an anonymous tip to the. Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead and make it an anonymous tip to the Inquisition. That's fine. All right. Let's see. All right. I got a story for you, Adrian. One time at the canteen, an Eldar infiltrator cut in front of me in line. Worst day of my life. See, there we have it. There is clear evidence of the danger, the duplicitous lies of the xenos. Everyone knows when there's a line, you get to the back of it. You get to the back of it. Unless you have money and you can pay for a free pass, then you cut to the front. But if you have not paid for the Adrian Pius certified free pass at various utilizable at various Adrian Pius locations, you cannot cut in front of other people. You cannot do that. Look, and it doesn't surprise me that a degenerate like an Eldar would be the one to just see the line, see the way we do things, decide that they are superior, decide they don't need to wait in the Mon-Key line, decide that they are the superior race that's wiser and can see farther, and see that if they cut in line here, that'll create a butterfly effect that will ensure the survival of the Eldar race. I'm sure that's what they'll tell you. But nonsense. Thank you. There, we're getting to the true malevolent heart of the Xenos lies. All right. Pat says we have Lorenzo on the line. Been a little while, Lorenzo. Go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say. Chakaro, strong together. Sounds like a bunch of Mon-Key business to me. All right. Share and enjoy your Max Lax. And very much appreciate it. Build to Lax, Max Lax. Thank you, Lorenzo. And I think you meant well, but Max Lax is a rival company. I think what Lorenzo meant to say is Megalax Galaxilax. It's like a bayonet charge for your colon. The only way to keep yourself regular that is approved by Adrian Pius. I don't endorse the Lax Max Lax. So probably just a little confusion there for Lorenzo. Likely misled by some Xenos tomfoolery. All right. What else we got? Any Hey, wait a minute. You toothbreaker, you deliver something to my boy. Look, we're not using my Pat, can you streamline those Vox waves? You can't. You can't censor out. Look, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear Xenos making deals to deliver things to each other. No, we're not. What do you mean the Vox waves are just open? You can't stop waves from passing through the ether. What do you mean you just can't stop it? Well, I don't care how Vox waves work. Fix it. Do I look like I'm a Mechanicus priest? Do I look like I am a tech priest? Pat, you're the one who's playing Archaeotech games. Look, I don't care how it works. Just fix it. No, don't tell me how it works. Just fix it. Pat, there's a reason I pay you a lot less than I should, and it's this. Just fix it, Pat. All right, getting it. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the show. So if you got any phone calls, please do call in. We had a lot of people calling in. We had Mark Shamed. We had Niels Ebsen called in. We had Lorenzo. We had Captain Toothbreaker, who I waggle my finger at. I will not associate with the Xenos. I'll say that again. Mark Ashamed, if I haven't mentioned him. We had Old Man Skeletal, of course. Always good to hear from Old Man Skeletal. And if we have anybody else who wanted to call in, but I think we've sort of gotten to a pretty good point. And I think we're all in agreement regarding Xenos. We don't really need to think of Xenos in different categories. We don't need to consider the motivations of Xenos. We don't need to consider moments when, there might be occasions where the enemy of my enemy is my enemy. They're all our enemies. They all need to be wiped out, and there's no talking about it. All right? That's just it. I've gone over all the reasons why you can't trust the Xenos, and why we don't even want to talk about different shades of disagreement, because some of you might be like, well, I would much rather be captured by a craft world Eldar or an Exodite Eldar, or than I would be than a dark Eldar. I don't want to be suffering for an eternity as my soul's devoured by torture mongers and masters of pain. That doesn't sound. I'd rather be captured by people by Xenos that don't do that. Well, that implies that you want to be captured by Xenos. And look, the truth is that unless you are Rabute Gilliman or Nomanicus, you are not getting a hot Eldar GF. It's just not happening. I don't care how much you want to be captured or how much they're gonna what you think's gonna happen on that craft world, but it's not that, pal. It's not that. All right. So, any other thoughts from the? But I think we're kind of getting to the end, and really, there's not much else to say. There's not much else to say about the Xenos. The Xenos are the only thing you could say about the Xenos is that they are enemies of humanity by design. They are not human, so they are in fact enemies of humanity. They're not something to discuss. The only good thing, and I put I don't know how many quotation marks around good, the only quote unquote good thing about Xenos is they are an external threat, and we can always deal with them with hostility. The only good thing is that they're not quite as insidious as traitors of humanity, of humans who want to rise up against, who want to turn traitor, who deny the light of the Emperor and either are rebelling for their own stupid petty reasons, or they are rebelling because of extremely misguided allegiance to the ruinous powers. Because that's hard to figure out. It's easy to look at everything that isn't human and say, no. It's difficult to look across all of humanity and say, well, which ones of these are hardworking imperial citizens, and which ones are debaucherous, cannibalistic, psychopathic monsters who would just as soon summon every nasty thing in the warp in the middle of your living room as look at you. All right, so that's going to be the show for today, folks. Please remember to support our sponsors for today. Make sure that you are buying Megalax Galaxilax. It's a bayonet charge for your colon. Make sure that you are also signing up for the Adrian Pius Medication Supplement Plan Plus today, and you can just imagine the savings. Definitely imagine them, because they are, in fact, imaginary. You'll ask yourself, how in the Emperor's name this is legal? And also, make sure that you are purchasing the Adrian Pius coin collection in order to get 8 unique coins featuring me, Adrian Pius, so your children and grandchildren will cherish it for generations. And if you buy right now using the special code HORNSWOGGLE, you'll receive 4 additional limited edition coins featuring me punching Cyrus Amani square in the face with a power fist. It's pretty awesome. All right. Oh, we got a final call from Captain Toothbreaker. Oh, all right, Pat, go ahead, put him on. I'm making a big announcement. My fleet is protected by a Lord Inquisitor. We're delivering an FBTM round the galaxy. You can't crump us, dumb humies. I believe NFB, never fail bunkers, is what he's talking about. Well, look, never fail bunkers. Even degenerate xenos can't help but recognize the craftsmanship and wondrous nature of never fail bunkers. Buy them today. Make your family safe so you can sit in a box with 6 months of food and water. And, while everything around you is falling apart, you'll have some place to sit for 6 months. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to Adrian Pius, voice of the Imperium. Never let the Imperial truthers get you down. Never bow down to the xenos. Always be mindful for the traitors and heretics that are among us. Be vigilant. Buy my stuff. And I will see you next time, listeners. This has been Adrian Pius, and I am signing off.